Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Celtic return to action tomorrow in that kind of strange 2:30 kick-off on a Sunday at Celtic Park. This happens very rarely, but we're on the telly tomorrow, so that's good. However, Celtic need to make a better account of themselves as what they did on the telly on Tuesday night. So a big job for Celtic ahead of another international break. Let's get this job done. If you haven't already, make sure to hit like and subscribe. It'd be much appreciated as we try and get further towards 50,000 subscribers. The international break is coming, which means tough time for content. So any support right now would be appreciated. Cheers. So Celtic Park is the venue tomorrow as we take on Aberdeen for the second time this season. We played very well against them the first time. We got a massive win up at Pittodrie, very early days in Brendan Rodgers' second tenure here. And tomorrow we need to look for a similar sort of performance, a similar sort of result. Something that gets everybody, singing from the same hymn sheet again. Everybody back on track and happy after what was quite a demoralising defeat to Atletico Madrid on Tuesday. A lot of things needed in tomorrow's performance. I mean, let's be real, it's amongst difficult times for Celtic. We're balancing numerous injury issues, a disappointing Champions League group stage. We've just been in a bit of a up and down spell at the minute due to so many difficult circumstances. All these away games and the amount of fixtures we've been playing. It's all kind of coming together for Celtic. I'm actually really glad that an international break is coming up. Gives us time to reset, gives us time to come back fitter and stronger. Obviously takes away a couple of weeks for the players who are injured. So yeah, we just need to go out with a strong performance, 3 points most importantly, continue what has been a really strong start to the domestic campaign. And I hope that everybody goes into the 2 weeks feeling a little bit more positive than we have been the last few days. Let's talk about injuries then. We need to talk about the newest one to add to the list. Dyson Maeda, he is out for 6 weeks. Brendan Rodgers confirmed that yesterday at the pre-match press conference. We spoke a little bit about it last night on the live stream, but today we're going to talk about it again. 6 weeks out, injured himself when he went in and got sent off. It's like a double whammy, isn't it? A red card and an injury when he went in for that tackle on Tuesday night. 6 weeks after damaging ligaments. Not ideal, especially when you consider the importance that Dyson Maeda has in this team. Yeah, a divisive figure. Some people like him, some people don't. You've got to be real when you say that he is very important. The pace that he brings to the team, the consistency in the lineup. He's always there. He's always a nail-on player in this team. He's in the team sheet every single week, and he's been one of the key parts in the blend between Ange Postecoglou's style to Brendan Rodgers. And Brendan Rodgers, I think, has brought another level out in him, if I'm being quite honest. You look at the goals that he's contributed to. I mean, the standout, the goal at Livingston. Bits like that he's brought out in his game this season. He's a really important player, and we're now going to be missing him for the next 6 weeks, and that has become the biggest talking point now ahead of Aberdeen and ahead of the next 6 weeks. What next? Who's going to play? Who's going to be the preferred front three? Because Celtic haven't left themselves with the greatest amount of options. When you take away Liel Abada and you take away Dyson Maeda, we start to get a little bit, ropey when it comes to the options, don't we? I think that Yang probably stands out as the favourite to come in. I think that he's showed glimpses of a talent there. Very raw. Still a lot of developing to do, but I think him getting a run of games can't do him any harm. You've obviously got James Forrest, who is James Forrest. You've got Mikey Johnston, who is Mikey Johnson. We've got Marco Tilio somewhere, lingering. Don't know what he's up to. Don't know if this will be an opportunity after the international break for him to come in, but it seems that he's not ready. Yeah, we have options, but are they the greatest options in the world? Have Celtic left themselves well equipped, or the best equipped they could be for a crisis like this? I don't want to use the word crisis because it is only Maeda and Abada that's out, but it's not an ideal situation, and I don't think that Celtic have left themselves in the best position with the recruitment that happened during the summer. So Palma and Kyogo are nail-ons. They're going to start. I'd imagine Palma on the left-hand side and Kyogo through the middle. But I think realistically you're looking at Yang coming in and completing that front three. There will be rotation. And I tell you right now, be prepared to see a lot of James Forrest over the next 6 weeks. As much as you might hate it, and trust me, I'm not the biggest fan of it, you're going to see a lot of James Forrest. But if he can come into the side and he can contribute and he can add to goals, he scored the other week at Ross County. If he can do that, then that's what matters just now. Just continuously winning these domestic games, keeping our firm grip at the top of the table. That's what matters just now. It might not be the easiest on the eye for the next few weeks, and we might be kind of waiting until January to look at what options we can bring in. But if we can keep winning games, that's the main thing. And whether it's Forrest scoring goals, Maida scoring goals, or bloody Joe Hart scoring goals, I just want us to win games. Let's talk about the opposition then for a little bit. Aberdeen sitting 7th in the table right now. It's not been the start to the season that their fans would have dreamed of. I think at the start of the season, they looked, to me, by far the third best team in the country. I thought they would have kept that going and solidified that place, but it has been a bit of an inconsistent start for them. They haven't been able to find form. 3 wins, 3 draws, 4 losses, one of them, of course, coming to Celtic. It's just not been an ideal start for Barry Robson. And I don't know if a big part of that has came down to the amount of football they're experiencing this season. The added European football, Conference League football, it does take a toll on you. You know, you have to be equipped for that. Players need to be ready for that. And maybe that's what's been holding Aberdeen back a little bit this season. And I think that this is a team that in the second half of the season, you'll probably see the best of them. When that European football is out the way and they can get back to the bread and butter of Scottish football, that's when they'll be a little bit better. But they have struggled. And they've been struggling, you know, on and off. And hopefully that happens again on Sunday. Hopefully this is one of the games they struggle in. To be fair to them, not a bad result midweek. They went away from home to PAOK and got a draw. Obviously, European football hasn't been glamorous for them either this season. The group stage has probably been a little bit of a letdown for them. But they should be proud of some of their performances, and that includes Thursday night, getting a 2-2 draw. It was a kind of must-win for them, but to go away to a side like PAOK, who are better than Aberdeen, and get a draw, that breeds confidence into a side. And that's the kind of confidence they're going to bring to Celtic Park at the weekend. This is their recent run of form. They have been finding a couple of results. They got that big win against Hibs in the semi-final of the League Cup. They beat Motherwell 4-2 at Fir Park as well. But if you go before that, you can see where things start to get a little bit kind of shaky. They lost to Kelly. They lost in a dramatic fashion to PAOK at Pittodrie. They drew with St Johnstone. You know, they have started finding their footing in the last couple of games, but this is a side Celtic should be beaten. And just to be blunt about things, as we always are in these match previews before a Celtic Park game, Celtic need to be winning. There is no excuses to losing games or dropping points at games at Celtic Park. And if Aberdeen were third in the table and they were playing really, really well, then yeah, it would be a different conversation. But they're not. They're 7th and they're struggling. Celtic need to be winning these games. We need to maintain that gap at the top of the table. It's a must-win for so many reasons this weekend. The usual suspects you're looking out for, isn't it? We know what guys like Duke can do, guys like Jamie McGrath can do. They have players on that side that can cause damage, so just keep an eye out on them. Defensively, we should be astute enough to keep them out. We just need to take our chances and play the good football that we have shown. You know, we played really well against Ross County, I thought, for going up against a 10-man side who had a lot of players behind the ball and congesting that area. I thought we unlocked them pretty well. Aberdeen, I don't think, will be as defensive as that. I think that they want to be a little bit more attacking in what they do, so we just need to carve them open when we get the opportunity and take our chances with a better side. And that's the borderline truth. One thing I want to briefly touch on before I get into my team predictions or anything like that is that the next two, and we'll probably talk about this in the channel a little bit more after Sunday, the next 2 weeks important for so many reasons at the club. Time to refresh, time to try and nurse people back to full fitness, get people through their injuries. But I hope that they take the next 2 weeks to realise that there is a situation that needs sorted with the fans. Once again, tomorrow at Celtic Park, there will be no Green Brigade, there will be no boys. The vocal elements of the Celtic support will be gone. That could make it a tough affair once again, and we'll probably experience that at certain phases in the game. And I hope that the club open the dialogue that the Green Brigade have requested. It's a matter now which is, I think, gone too far. Everybody knows my opinions on it, but I hope they take the next 2 weeks to sort it, especially when they see the difference it makes in a game like tomorrow. So, yeah, we'll talk about that more probably next week, though. So then, team predictions for Celtic. I'm going to go with this. Joe Hart in goals, of course. I think the back four will remain unchanged. I don't see what changes would happen at the minute. I think Scales is 1 yellow card away from a suspension, but he should probably be playing against Aberdeen. So I'd have the same back four as we've been getting used to in the last few games. The midfield three is obviously where there's room for conversation. I think that O'Reilly and McGregor are the on starters, but I think that third place is up for discussion with Rio Hatate being injured. And honestly, I hope and I think it might be a chance for Odin Thiago Holm. And I really hope it is. I want to see Thiago Holm start. Just because he hasn't had many starts and he's showed glimpses of being a really good player, promising player, I'd like to see him get an opportunity against a big team like Aberdeen. So I'm going to go out there and put Odin Thiago Holm in my middle three, and then the front three have already been through. I think that logically Yang comes in to replace Maida for the foreseeable, at least in the first couple of games, to see where he's at. But Palma and Kyogo need to start. You need to field the two strongest players to, supplement the change that's coming. So that's the 11 for me. I don't know how close I'll get with it. I've been spot on with the last few, actually, I think. But this time, a couple of positions up for discussion. But that's mine there. Right then, that does it for today. Sorry I've had to kind of rush through it. I'm actually busy this afternoon, so I'm trying to get things done really quickly here. So if the editing's a wee bit off or I've been talking a little bit faster than usual, apologies for that. But appreciate you all tuning in anyway. We'll be back tomorrow after the game for the post-match reaction. So I'll see you there. Like and subscribe if you've enjoyed, and I'll see you all next time.